everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Hash Time with Eitan. Thank you for tuning in today to the 12th episode. We have Nadav with us here today. Nadav, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me.
It's great to have you here. Before we get into it, I want to give two thank yous. Number one, to everybody who's been supporting this page. Thank you to our friends out on Instagram for helping us grow. And thank you guys to all of you who have subscribed and watched our videos. We really like to take the opportunity to thank you. It's really been a pleasure reading your guys' comments. And if you haven't already, please do subscribe. We're really trying to grow the channel. Recommend it to your friends, family, arch nemesis, whatever you want. Anyone, really. We really appreciate it. Second of all, big thank you to Fatal Grips for being the sponsor of this video. In case you haven't known, Fatal Grips is world-renowned for their great grips for your PS4, Xbox, and Joy-Con controller stick thingamabobbers. And whatever. They make really good stuff. They also make PC gaming equipment. You got keyboards, mouse pads, whatever. Go check them out. Their link to their Instagram and the link to their website will be down below. Use code HTWE all caps for 10% off if you guys want to support us. Thank you for being the sponsor of this video. Alright, so today, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be going over the final sequel to the Camp Stories series. So today, we go back to the wonderful time we had at Adventure Camp. Dov, do you want to explain what Adventure Camp is?
So Adventure Camp was basically a field trip every day.
Basically, what you did is every day you went to a different spot. Whether it's paintball, boomers, Dave and Buster's, right, swimming at a pool, whatever it was. You went on a field trip every day. Well, that's basically the gist of it. And so what was really cool about it is we got to go a lot of different places.
But the thing with going places is that there would always be that one kid, can I fit next to you? You already know that he put his hand on your backpack and you already can tell that he's picked his nose thoroughly with every single finger and like, ugh.
Yeah. Well, basically, so
very interesting
the most memorable part of Adventure Camp for me was every single week we'd always go to two locations for sure. Okay, it'd vary, but the two locations that they always went to, number one was Boomers, the place where you do mini golf and the arcade and stuff. And the second place was Dave and Buster's. So those are going to be where the most action happens, and coincidentally, that's where both of the stories of today take place. So the first one, basically, right, we're at Boomers, and everyone's having a fun time, right? A lot of the kids doing Adventure Camp didn't pack lunch for whatever reason, because most of them thought that they could just buy lunch at wherever we went. Yeah. They wanted to flex on all the kids and buy.
These people are the kinds of people to buy a Louis Vuitton face mask, even though they have to throw it away after 8 hours of use.
Yeah, so basically, these people wanted to flex on everyone else with their mom's money that they begged for the night before.
And you could see, the bags in their eyes of the crying and begging. Yeah, I'm so rich. I think I heard you crying from my house last... Shut up, Bill.
So, basically, everyone would always try to buy snacks and food from the food court.
And the counselors were like, this is unacceptable.
The counselors really hated this, because not only was it against the camp guidelines to have your students...
And we cannot break those, as those are more important than the laws of America.
Exactly.
And any other country.
YMCA camp counselor guidelines are the most important thing to ever
Comes before life.
But basically, you weren't allowed to buy any food. You're allowed to buy drink and stuff, but no food, because of, allergies and weird stuff like that. So basically, during the entirety of the camp, there'd always be this black market for foods there's always be this black market for foods from the location you were getting it. So basically what had ended up happening at Boomers is kids would secretly buy stuff and then sell it to other kids for money. Right? One of the most successful ones that I've seen is this kid at Boomers bought a giant bag of popcorn, and kids would fill up their metal water bottles with popcorn for $3. And he bought the thing for $2.50. It was he made $20.
You should have seen these kids like stuffing in their face, half of it was falling out. You hacker life. And you could tell they were just trying to think, oh, now I'm so cool.
Yeah, so basically there was a huge underground selling ring for food. And then it was really, the counselors didn't like it, and some kids got busted for it. But the food at Boomers, it's not the best, but you're hungry all day and they're really hot, you just want a Coke. And then if someone offers you half of their Coke for $5, even though they bought it for $3, you're not going to question where they got it from. You're just going to accept the deal. So one of the things that I remember most about it was, besides that, right? And sorry, Imanaba, but I've bought from them a couple times. I mean, come on, you can't expect me. It was so fresh popcorn.
And it was 90 degrees.
And it was 90 degrees.
Water. No way am I going to that water fountain, which I just saw some, 9-year-old kid slobber his mouth all over 8 minutes ago.
Yeah. So,
I'd rather drink from, the golf ball river than that.
Yeah. So what I remember being the most, interesting part of this whole experience is the loophole. The way that the kids found out how to do this, okay? You may be wondering, Eitan, what loophole could there possibly have been? Well, allow me to tell you. So, this might happen at other golf places, right? We've said this in one of our previous episodes, life lessons, but basically the last hole on every golf course is usually special, right? Mm-hmm. And normally there's a bunch of different outcomes. It's like a wheel, right?
That volcano golf course.
Yes. So one of the holes on there was really tiny, just barely the size of the golf ball. And if you managed to get the golf ball into it,
one hit,
you would win a free thing at the food court. Some days it was like popcorn, and some days it was like a free slushie or free soft drink. Okay.
Could use a slushie now.
So here's the thing, though, is that these golf attendees knew that people would try to cheat the system very easily, right? No one's looking, throw it in there. You'll hear the attendants hear the ring-a-ding-ding-ding of the winning noise. The winning noise.
Give this person free money because they hit a plastic ball into a little hole in the ground.
I'm sure they had their fair share of people just putting it in there and claiming it.
To solve this problem, they put a cage around it.
Not only did they put a cage around it, but they had to stop people from reaching their hand in, but they had somebody watching it, an attendant, always there at the end to help people, quote, put away their clubs. No, it was really to spy on us. We weren't yoinking free food from them.
The boomer spyware.
Yeah. So, this created something, right? Something beautiful, in my opinion. One of the most interesting parts of this is how kids got free food and sold it for a profit. It was a whole business model, to be honest with you. So, imagine this. Two kids, okay, named John and Joe, okay, hypothetical names, John and Joe, okay. Here's what they do, alright. Joe's hands are just small enough to reach through the cage and place the golf ball into the hole.
Joe's like 6.
Because Joe's like 6 years old. Or he just has really thin wrists. Baby hands. Alright?
Puberty has not struck.
So, well, not necessarily, but they just have thin hands. Alright? So, here's what they do. John goes up to the attendant and asks the attendant where the bathroom is, okay? Upon the attendant telling him where the bathroom exactly was, he said that he couldn't remember it and to ask the attendant to go show him where it was. Alright? This is where Joe sticks his hand, place the golf ball in. It's very smart. John distracts the attendant, and Joe secures the popcorn.
You guys were like criminal masterminds.
Criminal masterminds at age 6. It was crazy. Or age 12. Depending on what years we did it. But it was crazy, and kids would do this, and then they'd get a bag of popcorn and sell it for $3 a cup, and they got it for free. They'd sell like $20, and it was a great business model. It really was. Right? And then also, one of the other locations we went to is Dave & Buster's. In case you don't know Dave & Buster's...
It's like Chuck E. Cheese, but better.
It's like Chuck E. Cheese for adults. It's like Chuck E. Cheese for adults, where they serve alcohol and food. It's like a restaurant, sports bar, and arcade all compiled into one heavenly place. And it was the same thing with this, where they have a restaurant, kids want to order food. Yeah. But it was harder than that, okay? There's no golf hole, right? You can't get anything for free over there. So when we went to Dave & Buster's, basically they'd give us $10 worth of tickets, okay? The restaurant has a special offer where if you get a certain amount of tickets and trade it in, you can get a meal voucher where you can buy a certain meal, okay? Like French fries.
You already know
what happened, okay? Kids would be like playing the same game that had a good payout over and over again for like an hour at a time.
Like there was this one Angry Birds game I saw these kids like 5-person lines like, no, I want a free drink.
Yeah. No. So these kids would stay there the whole time, get a ton of tickets, and then go trade them in for food.
And I would just watch them sitting next to the games where you could play for free, like you didn't have to pay credits, and I just sitting on my Monster Truck Mania game, and I'm just like thinking, huh, you guys really don't want to pack a lunch.
Yeah, no, yeah. They had like this crappy lunch. They're like, nah, I want something good. And so they went in and...
Which, of course, was Lunchables, and to me, that's like, how could you deny Lunchables? I haven't had these.
Well, you don't know how good they are. Lunchables could be bad, but we ain't judging Lunchables. We ain't judging Lunchables.
Especially the platypus.
Especially the Perry the Platypus Lunchables.
And whatever. Jack Rabbit
and the platypus. Anywho, back onto the subject. So basically, these kids would be taking tickets and trading them in for food. Now, the counselors, as you know, this isn't allowed by the YMCA guidelines. So what the kids did, and they got away with it, is they would say, we're not buying it. You gave us money for tickets, and we're not buying food with that money. And technically they were right, although you could say the tickets were bought with the money or earned by using the money.
Be quiet, counselor.
Counselors are there, working. They just want to go home. They're not caring too much about this. Sometimes the counselors would be like, all right, but give me a fry, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
That was a little convoluted now that I think about it. And probably illegal, but I'm not going to be asking questions because I got some french fries this one time and they were delicious. Yeah,
but moving on about Dave & Buster's, so there's the arcade area where, like, you could get tickets, and with those tickets you could buy stuff. And Dave & Buster's, so, like, I remember they sold blenders, like, all these weird things you can get, and there was always the two kinds of people. Number one, that one kid who spent all of his credits on that stacker game, which, like, I've actually
never ever pays out.
I actually went and ended up getting 2,000 tickets from it.
Oh, wow, that's impressive.
It is very.
Yeah.
But, and then there's the other kid who's like, oh, I just got lucky, quote, and comes up with, like, 80,000 tickets, and, like, you ask, how did you even get that? And she's like, oh, I've just been saving cards every summer I come here.
Every summer since, like, 2004, I've been coming here and
even though that
cards.
Person's, like, 9.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Yeah, but looking back on Adventure Camp, I really love it. It's probably one of the camps I've missed most this year, not being able to go to. But overall, looking back on it now, I've had a pretty positive experience
with camps.
Alright, so we'd like to thank you guys for tuning into this episode of Hash Time With Eitan. Nadav, thank you for coming in today. It means a lot.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you. Thank you guys for making it this far. If you have, thank you. Please make sure to like and subscribe. More importantly, subscribe if you haven't already. And just want to say big shout out to our friends over at Fatal Grips for being the sponsor of this video. They make really good grips, and if you want to support us and earn us a little chunk of change, use code HTWE, all caps, when checking out in their promo code section. Thank you to them, and enjoy the rest of your day, guys.